Hey folks, how's it going? This is Mike, back for another video after about 3 weeks. So let me get back into the game here a little bit and show you some of the things that I've been watching and picking up recently. But first, I want to thank a good friend of mine who did a very special favor for me. If any of you remember my last video, I talked about how I bought this movie called Catholics. This is my VHS version, which I'm still holding on to. I bought this movie from a Hamilton book sale, and when I got all the way to the end, and the last maybe minute and a half, 2 minutes were just missing. The film just stopped before the actual film was over. So that was I did a little rant about that. Anyway, there's a terrific version on YouTube that is completely uncut, beautiful imagery. And one of my longtime YouTube friends, a guy named Chris, a gentleman named Chris, whose YouTube name, his channel is Dixieland Farm, he volunteered to download that version on YouTube on a DVD. And I got it a couple of weeks ago, and I played it. It's beautiful, and I can't thank Chris enough. I am so grateful for this, and so. Anyway, so now I have a complete version of this film, and I'll put a link below to Chris's channel. Chris has been on YouTube for a long time. He is a member of the vinyl community, has a great music collection, knows a lot about music. He also knows a lot about films, and he has a big DVD collection, DVDs, Blu-rays, and he comments on my videos quite often. He knows a lot about movies, and he is a gentleman farmer. He and his wife actually run this huge farm. So a lot of his videos on his channel are about farming. And then he'll have one about music, then he'll have one about films once in a while. Very much a Renaissance man. So you'll enjoy this man if you get to know him. So thank you again, Chris. Here are some of the things I've been watching lately. And I would say the crown jewel of what I picked up in the recent weeks has to be Lone Star, from the Criterion Collection, John Sayles. This is such a great film. I didn't even wait for a sale to buy this. I just went out and paid full price. Very happy to do so. I had never seen this before. One of my YouTube friends, Solitary Ronin of Solitary Ronin Films, is a champion of John Sayles and his work. He knows more about John Sayles than anybody. And it's because of him that I had my eye on this when it finally became available. And it's terrific. Just one of the best written and best acted stories that I've ever seen on film. And John Sayles really is a terrific director. It's all about down in Texas along the border with Mexico, and that's part of the story, the conflict between people who are living on one side of the border and the other. Anyway, it's very complicated, very timely for what's going on in this country right now as well. But it has to do with an investigation into a murder or a possible murder, because some men are out in the desert and they find a skeleton, and they have to find out who the skeleton is and what happened to it. So that's what the story is all about. But in the process of doing that, Chris Cooper, who is the police chief of the town, he finds out all kinds of really amazing secrets about everyone's lives, including his own, as a matter of fact. Chris Christopherson is in it. Let's see, who are the other actors? I think it's in alphabetical order, all the great people who are in it. Ron Canada, Chris Cooper, Clifton James. Sorry, printing's very small here. Chris Christopherson, Frances McDormand, Joe Morton, Elizabeth Pena, and then there's some other people in there whose names I really don't. Matthew McConaughey is also in it. So has a very interesting conclusion to the story, which is very controversial, and I'm not going to say another word. But the film, if you haven't seen this, man, get this version. Lots of good extra features, and just absolutely fantastic movie. All right, I picked up some other things from a sale at Hamilton Books, which is where I got the ill-fated movie of Catholics, which didn't end well. But I also bought The King of Comedy, which I have not seen. I don't think I've seen this since it first came out to theaters way back when. And I remember liking the film very much, but I have forgotten just how great it really is. I like it even more now. One of the best performances by De Niro, and I think the acting honors definitely go to Sandra Barnard, who has a supporting role. Wow, she's amazing in this. So Jerry Lewis is good, Diane Abbott, Shelley Hack. It's a very good movie, very well written. So a real pleasure to see it again. I also picked up the Blu-ray of Westworld. I had never seen this before, absolutely loved it. I also picked up this DVD of Tropic of Cancer. This is from 1970, I believe, based on the novel by Henry Miller, which is pretty controversial in itself. It stars Rip Torn, and Ellen Burstyn is in this, uncredited for some strange reason. Very controversial film, and I need to give this a second watch. I have mixed feelings about it, about the way it was done, the way the story went, but I will keep this and watch it again. Okay, next up, I picked up this double feature, remakes of Dracula and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, both starring Jack Palance, and both produced by Dan Curtis, the man who did Dark Shadows on television and The Night Stalker, all this cool stuff. He directs, Dracula. He does not direct The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's directed by Charles Jarrett? Oh, man. Sorry. Anyway, I was quite surprised how good these were. Very good version of Dracula, very different portrayal of the vampire than anyone else has ever done. And the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, as done by Jack Palance, I think so far he's my favorite portrayer of that character. Much better than Frederick March, a version that I really don't like very much at all, and even better than Spencer Tracy. I haven't seen the silent version with John Barrymore, but this is so far the best portrayal of Mr. Hyde that I've ever seen. Okay? Quite surprised, very pleased. I also picked up this very strange documentary, Room 237, all about The Shining, which of course is a great film. I've seen it several times. And this is all about the conspiracies and the ideas and the speculations of fans of the movie about what everything means, you know, every scene, everything that's on the wall, what people are doing. This is a 2-disc set, lots and lots of stuff going on here. Well, no, yeah, it is a 2-disc set, sorry. I've only just begun this. I've only scratched the surface. It's going to take me a long time to ingest all of this because it's, you know, it's a little bit crazy. All right. And I'm going to dedicate this to my good friend Justin, whose channel name on YouTube is Danny Don't Go In 237, one long word. So Justin, this is for you. Anyway. And here's another thing I picked up from Hamilton book, which I was really anxious to see again. Jerry Lewis in the Disorderly Orly, which I know I saw when I was a kid because I remember it, but there were a lot of things I didn't remember. And you know, I didn't enjoy this at all. I was surprised. I did not think it was funny. The only part that I thought was funny were the scenes featuring actress Kathleen Freeman, who was one of the best comedians who ever was in movies or television. Used to be all around everywhere back in the 1960s. And she is actually pretty good. Jackie Leonard is also in this, and he has a very funny bit. If any of you remember Jackie Leonard, great stand-up comedian. Good performance by Susan Oliver. Susan Oliver is in this, doing a very serious role, and it's great to see her. But Jerry Lewis turned me off, man. I was really surprised. I was expecting to just laugh my ass off and have a good time, but he was just irritating. So this goes to Goodwill. Sorry, Jerry. Just couldn't get into your film. I also picked up a lot of things from a sale by Sinister Cinema. And here, show you some of the things. This is a film called Suddenly from, I believe, 1953. It's a home invasion story, which is kind of a film noir. Frank Sinatra plays a very complicated, psychologically complicated criminal who is taking over someone's home so he can use that home to assassinate a politician who's getting off a train. Okay, nice little plot line. Sterling Hayden is in it. We also have James Gleason, Nancy Gates. Very good movie. I was very surprised, and Sinister Cinema did a great job with this. It's widescreen, beautiful imagery. Okay. Next up is a film called Naanga from 1944 from PRC, one of the Poverty Row Films studios. Buster Crabbe, Barton McLean, Fifi Dorsey, and introducing Julie London, who was 17 years old when she did this. Absolutely gorgeous. And I sat down to watch this movie one night and fell right to sleep. So, I mean, it's pretty static and studio bound. They didn't have a lot of money to make something like this, and it's all very, very, B movie-ish. But I watched it again. I had a great time. Buster Crabbe is good at anything that he does, and it's fun to see Julie London. All right. Next up is a TV version of the movie The Bat. Okay. This stars Helen Hayes, Jason Robards, Margaret Hamilton, and Bethel Leslie, if anybody remembers her. This is came out in 1960 or 61, a couple of years after the Vincent Price version, and I think the only place that sells this is Sinister Cinema, and the imagery is kind of crude because I think it was a live TV production, but it's a nice little curio. I can't say it's better than the 1959 version, but it's interesting and very cool to see Margaret Hamilton and Helen Hayes. All right. Now here are a couple of films from the early 1930s involving television. If you didn't know TV went back quite that far, all right? Check these out. Murder by Television and Trapped by Television, okay? Now this one has Bela Lugosi, who is pretty much the only thing about it. It's a very stagey, very dry, not terribly exciting story, but it's great to see Bela, right? And this one's a little more exciting. Lionel Talbot, Mary Astor, Nat Pendleton. This is a little bit more of a lively and enjoyable film, okay? But it's cool to see the early TV technology, the way the machinery looks, and having it being part of these stories, all right? Next up, well, here are some things I've picked up from Hamilton book. Well, just this one, I guess. I picked this up. This is a documentary about Led Zeppelin and the making of the album Physical Graffiti. I picked this up because I thought it was going to be mainly a concert, video, because I really like Led Zeppelin. I like to watch them and listen to them. But all it is a bunch of guys talking. It was really boring. They had very brief clips of the guys performing, but not enough to really enjoy it. So this goes to Goodwill. A couple of other things I'm giving away. I've been going through my collection again and rewatching some things. Do I want to keep this? Do I want to get rid of it? And I rewatched Zodiac, which I remember seeing at the theater when it first came out and liking it. It's a very long film. Then I picked up this DVD soon after it came out, and I never watched it until now. So I watched the film again and was not that excited by it. It just seemed like a talk fest. Great performance by Robert Downey Jr. That's the best thing about it. But once he leaves the story, to me, it just closes up. So this will go to Goodwill as well. And now I'm going to commit blasphemy with all of you, and I'm giving this away, my copy of Pulp Fiction. I've decided I can live without this very well. I'm not a fan. Sorry, folks. I've watched this film a couple of times. I know it has a lot of good points about it, but it's just not something that I really want to keep on the shelf. So put it back to the culture, and someone else can enjoy it, I hope. And here are the latest things I've picked up. I picked this up today, used. Still has a price sticker on. Ghost Story, the one with Fred Astaire, Melvin Douglas, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., John Houseman, and Alice Krieger, whom I met at a Star Trek convention several years ago. I just loved her. Fantastic lady, fantastic actress. I had never seen this before, so I was very happy to find it at a local used record, DVD, and CD store. So, okay, very good movie. And I also picked up the Blu-ray of Oppenheimer, which has a nice slipcase here. This is a 3-disc edition. It has Blu-ray, DVD, and then one disc of Blu-ray special features. So I will sit down and watch this sometime when I don't know how long is it, 3 hours or something like that. And everybody thinks it's going to win Best Picture. I really have no idea, but yeah, I'm anxious to see it. Very curious. That's it. That's my update. Thanks for watching, and comments are welcome, and I will see you later.